microphone. It picks up on any and everything. So we want to make sure you get the best representation of yourself. Make sure that you're in a spot where it has good Wi-Fi, a good Wi-Fi connection, and there's less noise limited. Because remember, like Quez likes to say, this is a production. It can go out all over the world. And Brother Benny could be in here and he can clip Hussy, clip you up at any given second. And, you know, we have no say over wherever it go.
Did you just say
I know say.
I like this.
Girl, you got a word of the day?
I
I know you got a word for us, man.
Yes. So the word was essentially brought on by Miss Jessica last week, where she claimed that she brought out the word a Proverbs 31 woman. So, you know, when you Google, you know, the overview, the woman in Proverbs 31 is a personification of wisdom and an ideal woman that a mother would want for her son. She is not a biblical standard that is exclusive to women, but rather a model for what wisdom looks like in action. The woman in Proverbs 31 is describing as having many virtues, including courage. She trusts God with what she cannot control, is encouraged by truth that God has ordered her steps. Wisdom. She speaks wisdom and has clarity on the decisions she makes, living her life based on God's eternal truths. Hard worker. She works hard, generates wealth, and prepares for the future. Generous. She is generous to the poor and holds out her hand to those in need. Supportive. She is a good, supportive, and trusting wife. Savvy. She is financially savvy and has the wisdom to manage her family's budget. Attentive. She is watchful and aware of the needs of her home and family and is not distracted by meaningless things. Yeah. That's essentially, you know, what we were talking about last week. And I'm glad that she brought it up because, you know, we've heard so many people try to use their own definition of what a Proverbs 31 woman is. So we have to just give a quick little breakdown because it pertains to a lot of what we're talking about today. You know, some of the topics that we're talking about is, you know, what is the definition of marriage and what are the roles within marriage? We're also talking about, you know, if sex is denied, is it okay to cheat? Another thing is, what was another thing we were talking about? Oh, why are the divorce rates so high? You know what I'm saying? So we want to get a clear understanding of what marriage is, what it's supposed to be, and why has it become so, I guess, perverted in a sense. Free candy?
Melvin,
I said I should be crying.
Right.
After all them sentences, I should be bawling.
What?
Why is
Cheryl said Proverbs 31 is something to strive for all people. I agree. You know, but there's so many different breakdowns. So, you know, another one that what is the meaning of a Proverbs 31 woman? Hold on. Actually, listen, what does a Proverbs 31 woman looks like today? And she is industrious and works with willing hands. She doesn't eat the bread of idleness. Instead, she stays busy living out God's purpose for her life each day. She isn't lazy. She doesn't grumble over the task in hand and looks well to the ways of her household. There's so many ways. There's so many different things to break down, but I definitely want to bring this up as it pertains to marriage. So shout out to Jess.
Go read your Bible. You know what I'm saying? And see what you get.
He said, "Go read your Bible."
I'm just saying.
Let's talk about married management. Melvin, where are you at? Do they have good Wi-Fi in Mexico? Are you through sucking on toes and eating empanadas? Can you come on? You know, we hadn't seen you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might be the real David Ruffin of the crew. You know, he out there doing solo-ish, not including the group.
You're doing something.
Right, facts. Facts.
See? And I've been coming.
All right. So which one are we going to go through today? Which one do you guys want to start out with?
Ladies,
first?
You guys pick since y'all are Proverbs 31.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Why are divorce rates so high? Is it okay to cheat if sex is denied? Or what are the roles within a marriage?
I guess let's start with that one.
All right.
Yep.
All right, so what are the roles within the marriage? I got clips. So I found this clip of Montel Jordan breaking down what marriage is, and then we'll take a deep dive into that.
Marriage is a covenant relationship between three. One man from birth one woman from birth and God. This is a biblical principle. And the reason why that statement can be considered controversial, what I just said, is because we live in a world that has redefined marriage. If you are offended or challenged by my statement, it's because you don't understand covenant. Humans didn't create the covenant of marriage. You can't create a covenant by redefining something you didn't create. Humans, we can make contracts. We can make agreements. We can make laws, but only God can make a covenant.
You can show your daddy.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Who can show their daddy?
No, I'm sorry. I got Bob right here and his dad's on the phone. And I thought I was still muted. My bad. That did not sound right.
It's the way stuff translate into adult ears.
And it had to be me.
You can show your daddy is definitely going to be a clip. I promise you. That is definitely
I'm going to start charging y'all for these clips.
Oh my goodness. That was funny though. That was hilarious. As soon as you get done, you can show your daddy. I'm saying this.
Because she has a bar that lights up. You can tap it. She showed him. So I was like, don't turn it on. And I said, show your daddy. So we can clarify that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not going in the clip at all. We're just going to go with you can show your daddy.
Let's go. Get back to the topic. Come on.
All right. So do you guys agree with his breakdown of what marriage is?
Can you explain it? Because I think I kind of missed what he was saying.
I think it was a brief overview. He didn't really go in depth. He just explained the covenant, which I agree with.
He got straight to the point.
From that standpoint. I think he was trying to cause some controversy by saying from birth, essentially, you know what I mean? But which was highly unnecessary. If you just say a man and a woman, I mean, sir, we know what you mean. But I think that's pretty much it. Like he said, we as humans, we can make laws, we can make promises, we can, you know what I mean? Like that, all those are very true. And only God can cover a covenant, man. You know, so I think that's a very, very, very good start to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess in that context, like you should only marry one person, you should only sleep with one person. I'm not really sure, but whatever the case is, I do understand the principle of what he's saying. God makes covenants between people. Yes. But yeah, I think there's a lot more nuances, but I do understand what he's saying. I get.
Well, that's why we're here, Adoration. You know what I mean?
I think I get.
But what's your nuance? You know what I'm saying? Just give us one.
I mean, I think that, and I guess we'll get to this later, but I think that in our religion, because there's a scripture that also says the traditions of man make the word of God of no effect. There's a lot of traditions we have in our religions that, and I guess, like I said, we'll talk about this later, but it traps people into, like, for example, I just bring up my grandmother, during her second marriage was just, I mean, in my opinion, just whoo. But she was like, oh, I already got divorced once. I can't divorce again because that's anti-God or whatever. That's against God. And I feel like we have a lot of traditions in our societies that even if you're in a very bad situation, especially back in the day, I mean, nowadays we're more like, but back in the day, you would see women and men stay in situations and relationships that were very, very, very horrible, but they felt like, oh, that's not right. Traditionally, this is not right. Traditionally, that's not right. And so that is the only thing I would say. There's nuances, but like I said, those are other topics, but I understand what he's saying, but there are other topics that, yeah. So those are the nuances that I would talk about. There's reasons. So yeah.
D Jess.
Yeah, I agree. With them. I agree with especially with Quest there and how the guy explained it. Believe it or not, I do believe a woman should submit as well, and I do think that they learn from birth. Because you got to remember, what do we have as our first toy? A doll, a baby doll, right? So that's already teaching us how to, be, nurturing to our child or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we have? A little kitchenette, right? Or a tea set. So it's already teaching us how to be a lady, how to be a mother, how to walk that line as a lady, as a woman, and be able to cook and clean. Men don't have those type of toys. You know what I mean? Y'all got cars.
Ninja Turtles, X-Men.
Yeah, see, because you got to prove to be strong, and you know what I mean. Work hard, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it does start from birth.
That was a good.
Hmm?
No, I said that was a good point. I didn't think of it that way. I thought he was being facetious when he said from birth, but I'm glad you brought that up too, because that was good.
No, I thought the same thing, Quest.
Yeah, I thought he was being facetious, but we'll leave it to YSD. That was good. That was good.
Woman and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because again, like I said, as of today in 2024, I mean, the breakdown of marriage has become so perverted. I mean, it's essentially like the word love. People take love and use it so recklessly. You know what I'm saying? They claim that they love this, they want love this, love, or oh, I love this person. And then you see it all on Instagram, they're holding hands and, everything. And then, maybe 5 weeks later, I hate this one. I hate. You know what I'm saying? But you was just over here saying that you love that person just a few weeks ago. So how did it deteriorate so quick? How did that emotion, change from love to hate just so quick? Were you ever in love? So I think, that's the reason why I'm glad that we're talking about this today, because we're talking about the definition of marriage and love and tradition and sex and all this stuff. We're grown-ups here, so we're going to talk about it from every aspect and every point, because I believe that this conversation here could hopefully help some marriages, because at the end of the day, I think what they try to portray on TV, with the movies, whatever, at least, is that, everything is hunky-dory, it's the white picket fences, and you go right off into the sunset. But I think the one thing that I can say as far as marriage, even relationships, they take a lot of work, you know what I'm saying? And so I think what we have to do is pop that bubble of an ideal marriage and just get down to what's a real marriage and what's a real relationship, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we're here talking about that today.
I think you brought up a good topic to touch on, because you said love and emotion. Love is an action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, something that you do.
I agree. I say that all the time. Love is what you do. You know what I'm saying? Through the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I'm saying? Your love, if it's real love, it's not going to change. Even when that person is getting on your nerve, you still love them. You still want to make sure that they have the best in life. You still want to see them at their happiest. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not with you, per se, if the relationship splits or something happens, if you actually love this person, you love them enough to love them from a distance. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to be together, especially if it's toxic, but you can still love this person and still care for them and still want the best for them. That should never change. And I think that when certain people say that, well, I don't love them no more, then it was never real to begin with. You know what I'm saying? It was just one of those minute rice loves. You know what I'm saying? Those instant loves. Because real love don't fade.
There's 7 types of love. And I think that it's important to sometimes sit down and categorize that, because I love someone romantically and I love someone as a brother, as a friend, and I love someone unconditionally are 3 different types of love. There's 7. So it's important also to understand that. Because
love is love.
Yeah. I mean, overall, yes. But I mean,
love is love. No matter how you break it down, I mean, how you distribute your love is definitely different. But love is love all the way around. Love is unconditional. Love, like Jessica said, essentially, she's right. Love is what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do, whether you're in a marriage, whether it's your brother, your sister, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you love somebody, love is what you do.
So adoration, were you talking about 1 Corinthians 13?
No. I was talking about that. But no, that's a good one to hit on too, though. Above all is love. That's a really good one. But I just meant like there's different types of love. Like I remember our parents talking about that, because sometimes it's hard to understand, the friendship love versus, especially when it comes to friendship love versus romantic.
Yeah, that's
love.
what I'm going to say. You got to be careful with love is love, because if
there's different love.
Yeah, then
Because sometimes you love somebody.
Diamond should have opened up the door if that was the case. If love is just love. You know what I mean?
Hey, you got love for somebody, and you're in love with
He
somebody.
spent
You know
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
money
Like,
on you, Diamond. Open the door. You know what I'm saying? He loves you. Accept his love, because love is love.
that was lust. That was lust. He loved the idea of a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like he loved the body image of a diamond. You know, he didn't get the chance to
I
love
just
the
want to
mind.
make sure we're being responsible with the message here. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
love is
Alright.
not always just love. You know what I mean? Some love
Very
is psychopath love. You know what I mean? We don't need
That's a type of.
No, but
You
that's
know
what I'm
what I'm
saying. Some people hide and they use that to validate sometimes bullshit, sometimes dumb shit. They try to use that as a way to kind of scapegoat out of certain things. You
But
know,
in their
I get what you
perception,
I get what you
it's
mean.
love,
I get what you mean. I hear what you're saying. I hear
That's
you.
all I'm saying. You know, so don't nobody be
So
attacking
so
us.
who's more so into marriage as far as genders? Is it a woman thing or is it a man thing? Like as far as like wanting to actually marry?
I don't think it's broken down by gender. I think it's broken down by upbringing and stance on life. You know, I don't think it's really gender specific. You know, women now in terms of how you get married, that you know, women more than likely want something extravagant, visible.
Watch it.
You know, they like that type of
A
scenario.
wedding.
Not everybody, not all women.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying more so
You
than
don't
others. Like men, we don't really give a damn about all that. You know what I mean? We just gonna.
But
get
you know
married.
what's funny is the last one I dated, he was like, yeah, he like, I want a big one.
Yeah, I know a lot of
I
guys
was
who
like,
want to celebrate their son.
yeah.
What's
I
up,
met some
Angel?
guys like that.
Me too, though.
Me,
I think it's nice for a guy to want to celebrate himself.
right.
Yeah.
When
I
I
don't
was
really like the whole
engaged,
guy
I
that
didn't
he
want to
does.
invite everybody. You know what I mean?
Is that really
My
celebrate
sister's like that
yourself?
too, private. And I'm like,
Yeah, is
Yeah.
that
Well, some
is that
people
really?
you just know they fake anyway. They're not
That's
gonna
what I
bless your
mean.
union. Yeah. Then why am I gonna invite you and spend at least $40-50 a plate on your
Right.
ass? I don't even like you. I don't even like you.
It
You
could
know
be
you don't like me.
$12. Depends on
if
the
I don't like you,
Yeah.
I'm not inviting
And they
you.
ain't even bringing a gift. You know what I mean?
Right.
see.
Make sure you hit the like and share button, y'all.
Yeah.
So I do have this clip of a woman breaking down why men marry, and I want to see if you women actually agree.
When a man wants to get married, he's only getting married truly for one reason. Because let me be honest with you women, the men can work and provide for themselves. He does not necessarily need you to cook, clean, and have sex because he can get sex from multiple women. They're giving it out. A lot of them can cook and clean. Their mother taught them or they can pay someone to get it. The culture is telling them do not get married. So why would a man go past what the culture is telling him? And you can now have love. You can now have nurturing. You can have support. You can have affection. This is what he can't get from a roommate. So if that is not what you're leading with in your relationships with men is love, support, nurturing, and respect. This is why your husband is now pulling away because in the beginning you gave him those things. But as you got into the relationship, you got bitter, you got resentful, you start seeing his flaws, start counting that against him, you start measuring him against other men, and now you're pulling back on the love, the affection, and the nurturing.
You guys agree or disagree?
No, y'all gotta answer
until
the
she
question.
got to the end.
Exactly.
What
That's how
happened
But
at
let
the
the men
end,
answer
Jess?
though.
She-
They're
What
the-
happened
she
at the
talks too much
end,
now.
Jess? Let me hear where it went left for you. What happened
Because
at the
she
end?
pretty much wrapped it up and said that, you know, if a man is looking for someone to marry, it's that love, affection, nurturing, and all the list that she gave, you know, because yeah, a man could get it from anyone. Yeah, because they are giving it out like a hot tamale, you know what I
Like
mean?
hot
But
cakes. Men catching it. Oh,
yeah,
catching it with the teeth. Even
but if the man is a hoe, then yeah, that'll please him.
Exactly.
Man. If
But
he
let the
really
guys
wants
answer.
somebody-
Y'all are the men. What do y'all want?
Yeah.
How do y'all feel?
No.
You're married,
No.
Fred.
So I asked the women, do you guys agree with what she said?
I look like a stinky
Now,
you
how
we
do
got-
I-
we got
agree
parts
to the end. That's what I'm saying. I'm lost with the end part with you. Just like, what part didn't you agree with at the end? It what?
No,
Just
at the
man could be
beginning, I wasn't agreeing. At the end, I agreed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Angie.
So what
says
about the
yes
beginning
and
that you
no.
didn't?
Because she pretty much made it sound like, okay, a man could get a maid, a man could get sex from wherever, you know what I mean? But if he really wants that intimate connection, he has to get it from one person, not multiple women, you know?
Mhm. Not marriage.
That's where I didn't agree with her at in the beginning.
Okay.
But is that not fact?
Now I understand.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, it's facts.
there we go.
It is.
Very good point,
Like I
Angie.
said, if a man wants to continue to be a hoe, then yeah, he could live that
But it's not
lifestyle.
necessarily being a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like
Huh?
sometimes it's
Really?
not. I
It
mean, because
is.
hey, we can get into that because I just found something to where like they
He
said,
said
hey,
we can get into that.
we can get into it because there's
Oh my
there's a
God,
clip.
Kendrick.
There's a clip where
Calm
this woman
down,
was saying
Kendrick. What you got, Kendrick? Calm down, sir.
they not
Hey,
like us. They not like. So there was a clip I found that said, hey, the women say the men cheat all the time, but what's up with Maury?
Mm.
We
Wait,
got
what?
DNA test. Daddy's maybe, or mama's baby.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying,
Really?
That's one person.
That's all you got.
ain't one person.
And
It's
a
multiple
man,
people.
a man had like
But I
50,
mean,
a
okay, but we're
20-year
talking about
career of one
when you're
person.
ready to get married, a woman is always, if she's ready, she's a woman. She's ready to get married. So at the end of the day, yeah, we know that he can do this and that by himself. But what man really wants to be the one cooking and cleaning? He know he want to come home, see that house clean, smelling good. He sees the food already cooked. He ain't got to wash them dishes. His towels already folded, his clothes is folded, his drawers is folded. Of course he wants that. What man don't want that? You're not gonna get that from the other ones. You know what I'm saying?
So now that this is why I brought it up, and it's now I have to interject because with all due respect, you were actually speaking for a man. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
more so I asked, did you agree with the woman? But as far as men, I don't think that no woman on here can necessarily talk and answer for a man. You know what I'm saying? As far as what we want from a marriage.
Well, when we
No, I
we can say
So-
what we want, what we know with some,
Be-
because some men will talk and say what they want.
No,
So I can
exactly,
only
because
speak
again,
for what I hear.
it becomes an ideal. It becomes an ideal. You know what I'm saying? It becomes an ideal. So this is why a
And
lot of times
same
when
with the
women step into these marriages, again, I can't say why you women want to get married. This is
Right.
gonna be something for y'all. But again, this is the reason why some women they step into like a marriage because they think that they know, or they think that this is what a man is, and this is what it becomes a miscommunication and misunderstandings. So again, as far as
Because he
like,
lies.
huh?
It ain't no misunderstanding. His ass done lied in the beginning. He put
Hey,
his
when
best foot
in
forward.
doubt, always refer back to niggas ain't shit.
He-
You know what I'm saying? When in
Well,
doubt.
because y'all try
When
to stand up
in
with
doubt,
it.
boy.
Because when y'all come with this, you guys always come with the battle of the sexes. So saying
Yes.
like, well, what do y'all
Not a
women
battle
want?
of
And why do
sexes
they
at
always?
all.
Why do the women always want to get married? Some women don't want to get married. Some women
A lot
just
of
wanna
women don't
keep
wanna get
what
married,
they do.
actually.
Yeah.
But we never
know?
said that. We're asking. So that's why I
No,
asked
we
before.
just-
It's just
we don't want to turn this into battle of the sexes.
yeah,
We
because
just-
this is exactly what it's not. It's
we
definitely
just,
not.
We just curious. You know what I mean? I was actually curious. You know what I mean? To be honest.
Hold on, let's read some of these comments real quick. For Angie says he has to want that with that woman. You know what I'm saying? Very true. Melvin was saying not as I'm not sure what you're saying, not as cap too. Angie says should go both ways, D. And then
Yeah, it should.
partnership. Melvin says I can pay for all that you pay for loyalty in a partner.
Well, apartment.
He's got to come and elaborate a little bit more. I think I
Yeah,
can give
bro,
him
you have to come up here, bro. But
put the
again, I think-
empanadas and toes down.
to be honest, I agree with her too, to a certain extent. I think one of the pieces she was missing was hold on.
So again, like I'll pick it up.
These kids tonight.
Sorry, yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
the kids was in the room. I had to.
Friday.
Mine too.
You know what I mean, I told you they had a school, but they prisoners are running the yard. But
Try brain breaks. Try brain breaks.
man, But no, what I was saying is, she left out peace. A man can get all of those things. He can pay for those things. And sometimes men stay in that type of dynamic for the peace of it, because I can send you home.
Mm-hmm.
I can send you back to wherever the hell you came from when I'm done. You know what I mean? And continue on with my peace. I'm just speaking from an outside perspective. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like I've said numerous times on this podcast, as a man, when you go out here into the world and you have to, be a superhero out in the world and carry on so many battles throughout that day, to come home and have one more is the ultimate draining scenario. You know what I mean? You don't want to come home and hear about that type of shit. So I think for men get married for all of those things, and that woman brings him peace. I think that
I wanted to piggyback off that, because essentially that's where I was going to go. I mean, I can't speak for all men, but I know that some men, a lot of men that I've been around to talk to, the one thing that they're looking for is peace. You know what I'm saying? Because again, they don't want to come, like Quez said, he's absolutely right. You don't want to come home to another headache. You don't want to come home to more nagging, to another battle. You know what I'm saying? Because you've already had to face stuff out in the world. So, you know what I'm saying? So the one thing is that essentially when you want to create this home with somebody, you want peace. And so essentially it's not necessarily being like a hoe, because at the end of the day, I mean, just likes to say it all the time, like men, they have a need for sex, or it's a necessity for sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes, I mean, like, so what she was saying is true, is that, if we need to scratch that itch, you know what I'm saying, there's definitely probably like a willing participant. There's not necessarily being a whole, like sleeping around or whatever, because some people have a legitimate, like one person, like sex partner, like a sex buddy, like a friend, you know what I'm saying? So when you just want to just get yours off or whatever and just go back to living your life, it's the convenience of not having necessarily like a headache. But, again, with men, I think we get a little impatient. And I think sometimes we pick the wrong partner, to which is why we say that we have no peace, because you don't necessarily take the time to actually get to know the woman. You know what I'm saying? But what you actually take the time to sit down and actually conversate and actually get to know the woman, then you'll know that this woman right here is going to bring you that stability of peace.
Yeah, because people are out here picking on superficial standards. You know what I mean? They check the boxes visually, sonically, whether that be, they followers and their status in society. Like, people are using those as metrics to pick husbands and wives, and that is a dangerous situation. So I agree with Angie when she said it does go both ways. Like, you as a man, your wife deserves peace too. You know
exactly.
What I mean? Whatever that is to her. Whether that's a day off from the children, or you know what I mean, you locking her in the room and taking the kids outside to play so that she can have an hour to herself, or whatever the case may be, for her to have her peace. Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. So I do agree with that.
I definitely, this is to Jess's credit, because again, you women do a lot, so we're not going to sit up here and act as if you guys don't. You women hold down the household. Even when we have our moods, you guys put up with our moods. For the women who are out there who are cooking, you guys cook, you guys maintain the household. Then if you got kids involved, then you got to definitely deal with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And then if you work, then you have to deal with the ills of work. So, you know what I'm saying? So you women definitely have a lot going on too. So yeah, no man should be coming home and bringing you any type of drama. You know what I'm saying? Any type of unnecessary fortitude. You know what I'm saying? We should be your peace as well. You should be able to feel comfort in knowing that, hey, we got you, that you can come and unload, you know what I'm saying, and unwind and let us know how your day went, or this, whatever. And like Wes said, sometimes if you got to take the kids away just for a minute, so you can have your stability, then you need that too, because mental health as well. You know what I'm saying? And you women definitely go through a lot as well. Definitely a lot. So it's mutual. Tisha says, and it must be understood that the waters are not always going to be calm, but y'all have to learn how to go through the storm together. Very true. Very, very, very true.
Absolutely.
Very true. Good
Yeah,
one, David Ruffin.
I think there's a societal situation where people feel it's comfortable now to run. You know what I mean? First sign of trouble, people just run. Like the days of I understand like the other side of that spectrum, like Adoration was talking about with her grandma, you know, where you know it's just hazardous to that individual to stay in a relationship. But there's also another side of there are going to be situations that are going to be uncomfortable. And if you're not with somebody that you can talk through with that, where you guys can sit down and brainstorm, figure it out together. You roll your side of the boat, I'm gonna roll mine, and we're gonna get through this type scenario. Instead, most people jump ship because it's uncomfortable. I thought you said this was a cruise.
Very true.
You know, they hit a wave and now they done jumped off and swam back to shore. You know, so I think that's a major problem with relationships now, because there's so many distractions. And to kind of sum up what he was saying about keeping it down to 3 people, there's so many people involved in your relationship nowadays, whether you know it or not. You know, like we talk about the influences for children, but social media is influencing adults also, and the way they feel relationships should go. And what a healthy relationship looks like, or you know what a woman should be doing and what a man should be doing, and what makes you a successful man and what makes you, you know, there's so many influences outside of just you two and God. You know what I mean? That you know, you got an extra person. It's like letting Jezebel come live in the house with you and expecting her not to do something with your man. Or vice versa. You know, I don't know who the male Jezebel would be. We'll call him Jesse. You know, yeah. There you go. There you go.
The Bible said he was the most
Ahab, or even Daniel, who send your husband off the wood.
Oh, David?
That was David.
Oh, David, yeah.
My bad. You know, David, the same thing. Like, you know what I mean?
David.
You let somebody come in, they send you outside and cut the grass so they can sleep with your wife. Type scenarios. Like, you know, that's essentially what you're doing when you start to incorporate all this into your decision making. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're adding that extra entity into your life instead of, you know, turning to God, praying about it, reading your Bible, whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? But I don't think social media should take a forefront in your decision making or your comparison process to your relationships, because all of them are different.
Very true.
That's
Very true.
That's really good.
And I think social media.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Go ahead, Adoration.
No, I was saying I want to piggyback on what Quest was saying. I think that one of the biggest problems we do have today is what is marriage, and not just today. My bad. That we've been having. I think that back in the day, people would get it from the church and get it from society and tradition, and that was pretty bad. And then people are getting from social media, and that's pretty bad. I think that it really does have to get down to you, your partner, and God. God can speak to you. He talks. He's alive. He could tell you how to go. Relationships, I think we try and fit it into this glove. Back in the day, it was tradition. And the Bible says the traditions of man make the word of God of no effect. And you see that when you travel abroad to these different Christian communities, different Muslim communities, Abraham, it's all like everybody got something different that this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if it's supposed to be exactly what God's telling you it's supposed to be? What if God's like, okay, you get married, you do this, y'all do it this way, y'all do it that way. And we're so obsessed with, no, it has to be like this. You got to go to work, you got to cook, you got to clean, you got to this, you got to that. And none of that stuff is nowhere in the Bible. It's just our tradition. And then today we got social media, and we know none of that stuff is in the Bible. So I feel like, piggybacking on what Quest was saying,
I gotta play advocate.
I know.
Isn't Proverbs 31 in the Bible?
No, but here, okay. Let me
But
talk about
social media does not promote Proverbs 31.
Correct.
There we go.
Yeah, but
Good. Thank you, Jess.
Sure
I
does.
agree. I agree. But there are people who live in the false pretenses of a proverb.
Get the devil out of here, Jess. Get him out.
No, No, but let me talk about Proverbs 31 really quickly, though. Proverbs 31, if we were to translate everything that's saying, and I'm just going to say this,
Like that.
Don't get offended, nobody. But what Proverbs 31 sounds like if you were to translate those things into our generation, and I'm talking to a group of young people, we would call that a boss woman, or, a boss avid. I can't say the word.
Pick
I can't
me.
say it. Literally, no, not a pick me. A boss.
No.
The way they call it these days. So, and in our society, especially when it comes to Christians, you're as a Christian, a lot of the stuff that the Proverbs 31 says, a lot of people, especially in our Christian communities, look down on that. They're like, oh my God, you're a woman working outside the house. You got your own businesses. You're this, you're that. You're supposed to be at home. You're supposed to be cooking. You're supposed to be cleaning. That is what we would say in our traditional society. But the Bible doesn't say that. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we bring to the table and say, this is how it's supposed to be. The Bible doesn't say it anywhere in any scripture. And I think I was raised with the Bible as one of my textbooks. And I still thought that this was how it's supposed to be, just because I was also raised in a world where there's tradition. So it finally took me to like my 20s to be like, let me read this actual Bible and ingest what it actually says without it having to match up with what I was raised around and how I was taught. Let me ingest it. Also, being outside of America, things are very different. They're not. America has a very traditional, trying to stick to a traditional mindset. The rest of the world, they don't really operate like that. And so I'm like, wait a minute, the Bible doesn't say that. The pastor said that. The Bible said that the people
interpretation.
Of Thessalonica, exactly. It said they were more noble because they actually heard what the pastor said and they went back and read the scripture and compared and said, does it say that? And I feel like in our generation, first of all, a lot of people don't read the Bible, but we're just told this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be.
For real. No one reads it.
Nobody reads anything.
Nobody. I was friends with.
They don't read regular books, let alone the Bible.
Pastor's daughter. She was a pastor's daughter and pastor's granddaughter, and she asked me, "Should I be listening to secular music?" And I'm like, "Sure." I said, "Well, do you read the Bible? You know what I mean? Because you need to have your foundation built before that." And she's like, "Oh, I don't read the Bible." I said, "Well, they know you shouldn't be listening to it because that's going to be all you're feeding your soul. You have to have a foundation so that when that secular music comes in, when that social media comes in, it doesn't affect you. You already know. But if you don't,
I like that, Adoration. I like that.
Good stuff.
I would like to say something, Adoration. Just for the women out there, if you are looking to be a Proverbs 31 woman, what Edward mentioned in the beginning was that Proverbs 31 woman looks well of the ways of her household. That is the main focus. That is the main focus. Yes, she does work. It does say that in Proverbs 31, but that is her main focus, so that she can create an atmosphere for her husband, who should be the provider. And yes, it does say that in the Bible too.
Yeah,
it does say that in the Bible too.
Here we go.
Many times, not just one.
Exactly. It does say that in the Bible too.
Say for the ones in the back.
Yeah, but where's the men? Can we bring up what the men's role is? You brought up Proverbs 31.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, hold on, Greg. Oh, I removed him. What you got going on, man?
What the hell? I'm glad
I wasn't ready for that, man. I wasn't ready.
I'm glad I didn't see nothing. I know he wasn't in his drawers, was he? Stop playing.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. Crazy you ain't shaking. I was trying to remember.
I'm getting in bed.
I was trying to too. That's my fault. I was trying to get about it too. Hey, sir, we need you to put a shirt on, sir. You know what I'm saying? We're running production here.
Yeah, Greg, come back, man. Put on the shirt. Get in a nice, quiet spot, man. Okay, I can't push you on there like that.
I'm in a nice, quiet spot.
I'm just looking out for you. Well, at least put on the shirt, man. I gotta look out for you.
Real quiet, huh?
Y'all don't laugh at our guests.
No, I completely agree with you. Look, she says it's vacation day.
And this ain't even the season.
I completely agree. You know what I mean? Men should be providing for their households. You won't get no argument from me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else did you want us to say? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
What
Because
else
he
did
brought
you
up Proverbs 31 woman, you know,
Right.
what are the roles of a
Right.
man?
Absolutely.
If we looking at the Bible.
Well,
Absolutely.
There are a lot. And I think that too, I just did this probably like a year ago. I actually looked in Proverbs chapter 31 woman because I had a ex-boyfriend, great guy, but there were some things I just couldn't do. So I started looking like, okay, you know, what kind of guy should I be looking for? I know the standard, protect, provide, that, you know, love, protect, provide. Those are standard, yeah. But what else? And you hear the same mom who's talking to him about what kind of wife to find. Where does she start? It's not for kings to be drinking wine and whiskey. Now, everybody's different,
Right.
but what do I need? It's not for people, not for
like
kings
whiskey.
to be, you know, sleeping around a woman. That's another thing for me. Somebody who can open their mouth for the dumb. And that's how I am too. I'm like somebody who advocates for people and helps people. So I was like, those are 3 things that the mother mentioned to him before she talked about a woman that I need in my man. And so I'm like, okay, I know what I need in my man. This is what I need somebody who is like me. I'm like this. I need a man like that. You know, because I used to think that love, protect, provide was like the standard. This is what you need in a man, period. But I realized that no, I need a man who has self-control. I need a guy who's, you know, like me. So I think that people,
factors, yeah.
yes,
A whole
exactly.
lot of factors.
Just like I need to be. I can't just love, protect, and provide either. I gotta be more than that.
Yeah,
I gotta
we
be a
can't-
virtuous woman. So I need those things.
We always
Also
get
back
caught
then.
up on this provide and protect, but there are so many
There's a lot.
different
Right. We know her
elements
husband sits in the
that-
gates. We know this and that. We know he honors her, but wow.
Yeah.
So Proverbs chapter 30 woman actually does break down a lot of things for a man. It breaks down
Yeah,
the type
it's
of
for
position
both.
that he's exactly somebody who matches her,
yeah.
that woman. So yeah.
Husband
I like
role
that.
is keep wifey happy. I didn't see that in the Bible either. But
No,
Well, I looked up one thing. The main responsibility of a man is summed up in 3 words: love your wives. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands hold the key to a flourishing marriage. Men are to be initiators. The wife comes into full fruition and submission in response to the husband loving her as he should.
There's more than that. Though.
There's definitely more. It was.
Right.
It was a son.
Go ahead.
No,
Jessica.
I know where this was.
So here's the thing I don't want to go into. I don't want to get into nene shit. I don't want to go into
You're
that.
not gonna say that though.
No, I know that, but the attitude or the temperature,
No.
you know what I'm saying?
What
So
I don't want to hear from Quest is the problem with black woman is
He would never say that. He would
So-
hold on. He would never say that. First off, he's married to a black queen. What's up, Sekou?
I don't never say the problem with black women. That's something I do not say out loud. I
No.
I might tell you personally, I say the problem with women. I don't
You said a
specify
black woman.
black,
No.
white, or I've never.
I get the clip.
Please
Never.
run the tape back on me, because I'm very adamant about not disparaging our women specifically, because there's a whole lot of men that already do that. So I try my best not to do it. I promise you. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
I got you.
I'll
I
say
know that.
women.
I know that to be a fact about him. He will never say that. That would never
I
come out
will
of his
say-
mouth about black
I
women.
will say women. You know what I'm saying? I'll say women wholeheartedly, because to me, you know, culturally there may be some differences, but societally it's a lot going on with the women. So I would never point y'all out like black women ain't shit. You'll never hear that from me, ever.
Okay.
I promise you. Okay, so we're gonna start there. But I did want to touch on what some of those extra things that, you know, a man should be providing. I'm glad he said initiating, because that's a part of leadership, right? Part of your husband leading is for him to initiate certain scenarios. You may not agree at first, and you may not see the vision at first, but it's his job to get that started, show you the value in it, and how it's going to help your family progress, or how it's going to change the dynamic of your household to make the situation better. So that was a very important one, and that's a part of leadership that, you know, men should be looking into. And another great one that my bishop's husband gave me was, your wife should never outstudy you. She should not be out reading you. She should not be out studying you. She should not be out learning you, right? And not to say it facetiously like she can't, but you should be making it a point that you're keeping up mentally as well with the woman that you're leading, if not exceeding, because when a woman feels like I'm this isn't me saying this is how y'all feel, this is just my observation, but when women feel like they don't need you to lead and that they're smarter than you, you're going to have a power dynamic in your household that's not going to be conducive to a good relationship. If she feels like she's smarter than you, can outthink you, and can outgrind you, work you, whatever the case may be. So for the men out there, you should be working on your brain power, so because there's a lot of things that come with that. Emotional intelligence comes with that. Physical intelligence comes with that. All of these things coincide with each other that's why I tell people to read so much. You should be reading, sir. You should be studying, sir.
Agreed.
You should know that word better than Jess, because Jess dropped them goddamn scriptures on you. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to get it together over there. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying.
He ain't talking about me.
I have
All right, so look.
I wasn't talking about
25 responsibilities all Christian husbands should have. This is something I just Googled just to summarize real quick. There's 25, but I'm going to give you 7. It says providing for the physical and emotional needs of your wife, nurturing, love, and respect, honoring and cherishing your wife, effectively communicating within the marriage, providing spiritual leadership to your family, protecting your family, providing provision for your family. And of course, there's more, but I just, we're on a time crunch.
And I feel like a lot of men on social media, okay, not saying all men, but a lot of men make fun of those men who cherish their wives.
That's true.
You talking about the ones who make fun of Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
literally
everybody-
cherishes Sierra.
So we already had a show where we called those type of dudes busters, suckers,
I get
scrubs,
that. I'm just putting it out there.
punks.
Yeah,
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
They are punks. Yes, I agree.
We already had that.
I
Hey,
think
hey,
that
Quiz.
people are jealous of people who they see doing
What's
good.
up,
Whenever
man?
somebody's doing good,
I see
Quiz,
her
let me
still-
ask you something. So do you think that men have a fear of marriage? And I'm gonna say this, so hold your thought because I have a clip.
They don't understand that a lot of men, we don't really run away from marriage. We run away from divorce.
That's a fact.
We're not running away from marriage. But you gotta understand, if I found out what marriage is, it's like, I love my girl to death, but you mean to tell me if I make one mistake, they can ruin me for the rest of my life? Or one mistake, if she make a mistake, it's cool. She make a mistake, divorce is good. She just go on about her life. I make a mistake that can cost me for the rest of my. That ain't really fair. One day I want to make my girl that happy because it's truly for her.
Yeah,
and I'm man enough to say men don't look into. And it's coming from somebody who parents been married. I'm 35. My parents been married since I was 5.
Right.
So this coming from a married home couple. I don't. It's just what they done made it to be now.
Right.
It's like, okay, I see married people. It's really a money game now. It seems like it's like I get married. There's no benefits for me. It's no benefits for me but to make her happy. So now if I get married, okay, cool. Now as a man or whoever I am, I haven't made no mistake with my girl for 8 years.
Right.
Never got no Texas, came to her as no woman. No woman came to her as no woman. I'm not on camera. I'm not doing nothing. I done did my thing. You know what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me if I slip up, I do something up and she just feel like she don't want to give me a chance, she could possibly take half of what I own?
Wait, what?
You sound like he's been hurt. For real.
No, I think, to be honest, that is a genuine fear.
I get it.
Hold on.
Especially from the aspect of women continuously saying that we're supposed to be providers and protectors, which essentially, it's kind of uneven balance in terms of financial strain. So I think it's a genuine fear when done incorrectly. Like I don't personally have that fear at the juncture I'm in my life, but I've been through it already, and it does cost you heavily. And no matter the way it's designed is typically men are going to lose. Like, let's just be honest. Men are typically going to lose in those type of scenarios, whether you're right, wrong, or indifferent. The court systems and the way society is structured is that woman is going to be given the benefit of the doubt. Women might as well have qualified immunity, like the police, because you know what I mean. That's basically what it kind of boils down to at the end of a relationship. You know, whether that be with the kids, whether that be with the finances, with the wealth that was built. And I think for high value men, they kind of fear it more because the women that they're dating don't really do shit. So that may be a fear that they have, you know, because you have a pretty person sitting at home and, you know, just enjoying the resources. But for someone at my position, that's not a genuine fear I have at this point, because I structured my relationship correctly. So that's not even on my radar of what if. That what if doesn't exist to me at the moment.
And I feel like if a lot of men, like you said, structured their relationship in a certain way, they wouldn't feel that way.
Agree and disagree. I can see both sides of the coin. You know, when I was in it, you know, I definitely had a fear of divorce, but it wasn't more so the fact of someone coming and taking half or all this other stuff. It was pretty much a fear of failure. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I wanted to make sure that I had a healthy relationship. I wanted a healthy marriage. You know what I'm saying? I wanted something, not to put my peoples out there. I wanted to have something better than what I've seen, better than what I was around. You know, I've seen a lot of failed marriages, you know what I'm saying, coming up and growing up. And I know as far as what my picture perfect, you know, ideal marriage was, I didn't want that. So I definitely had a fear of effing up, you know what I'm saying, of doing something wrong or saying something wrong. And I think sometimes when you start speaking death over something that's meant to you for you to speak life, you can cause that, you know what I'm saying? And it was a hard lesson learned. You start speaking death over your situation, and then that's what's going to occur.
You said that, brother. That was the moral of the story right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, people fear things that they attracted right to their doorstep.
They attracted right to their doorstep. You're like, I didn't want the arguments. I didn't want this. I didn't want that. And then sure enough, when you start saying that and start saying that, you start having that fear. You having that fear, and that's what you start seeing. And then you all of a sudden you're looking around like, damn, what is happening? But the only person that you have to blame in that situation is you, because you started speaking it. You didn't speak life like, oh, I'm going to love her. I'm going to do this. You start speaking death. Oh, I don't want it to fail. I don't want it to fail. So then you start pushing certain insecurities, certain fears onto your relationship, into your wife. You get what I'm saying? And you know, it takes a lot for us to actually grow to get that mindset, because when you're in it, you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a real thing. But I think what Jess was kind of alluding to, and what, you know, some guys are alluding to, is that, yeah, some of you dudes, you guys have this fear of a woman coming to take the money that you imagine yourself to have, or that you want to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You live in a 50 cent, you live in a 50 cent fairy tale in your head, and you think that you balling out of control. You know what I'm saying? But you know, at the end of the day, if you're a thousandaire, you're a thousandaire. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting millions. You know what I'm saying? That she's going after. You know what I mean? So let's just keep that a buck. You know what I'm saying? Some of you do need to just pump your face a little bit.
This is no knock against any men. Actually, I'm talking to men and women right now. I said this on a post. I said, us poor people, and when I say poor, I mean poor. We have to stop talking about rich people's issues, because I know a lot of millionaires. I grew up as a little millionaire girl. I know a lot of millionaires. I know billionaires. I know the circles. They don't have these conversations. Nobody's talking about 50-50 and is she gonna steal half of my money? And no lady's talking about that too. A lot of the real millionaires, and I'm talking about, I became an NBA star, I grabbed the prostitute off the side of the road. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about real people with real money.
Because
usually they're married to women who are building their businesses right beside them, have their own businesses, property. When we talk about high value men, we're talking about No
No,
offense.
so when D whispered, you know, she spoke some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these people have prenups. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking tax brackets, hold up, Adoration. When you start talking tax brackets, it becomes a different situation. Because again, you start protecting your assets and what you got. Because again, if you're walking into something and you have a lot, and let's just say, you know, quote unquote, not the Jesses, but you know, the women's on here who want to be quote unquote women's who don't necessarily have anything. They're not necessarily bringing anything essential to the table. And I'm not just talking about financial. I'm just talking about not bringing shit. You know what I'm saying? So we talk about those women who come through. Then all of a sudden, you know, the ones who are looking for a come up. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, you got this dude who was once upon a time a millionaire, but you got this chick over here who don't got shit going on in her life but to collect the check. She's gonna sit up there and get this dude. Now this dude ain't a millionaire no more. You know what I'm saying? So again, so when you start talking about when you start talking about hold on, Thailand. Dung.
I get cut off every time.
When you start talking about tax brackets, it becomes a different conversation.
Okay.
Come on,
what
bro.
I'm saying is,
come on, bro.
Okay, let me say this though. Let me say this. What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about.
Lord.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adoration. Ignore him, Adoration. Keep going.
Now I know I
What I'm
fucked up, but
saying,
he know he didn't have to say
of-
that. You didn't say that.
He did not,
Okay. What I'm saying is,
I'm sorry. It's the
us poor people, and when I say poor people, I'm putting it in quotations because nobody's poor. But us poor people, we focus on these Kim Kardashian type celebrities, Ray J's and stuff like that. When I'm talking about rich people, I'm talking about real rich people. I'm not talking about one-hit wonders. I'm not talking about socialites. I'm not talking about a basketball player who, like I said, married her OnlyFans model. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the guy who married she used to be OnlyFans. She's not. I'm talking about real rich people, real come-ups, real men, real high-value men, not men that just have money, men who actually have value.
What's that dude's name? Bezos?
Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm talking about that, and they're real wise. What I'm talking about is us poor people. We're always talking about somebody else's money. Like I said, you hear the men who are barely thousandaires talking about, I don't want her to take half my money. This happens to this superstar. You hear the woman talking about, you know what I mean? I want a man to It's like we're having conversations above our pay grade. People that are up there.
But that's dismissive. That's dismissive, Adoration. You can't.
No,
do that.
I'm dead serious though.
Yeah. How? So this is the only problem I have with that. Besides the fact that if you 1,000 there and they take half, now you 100 there, that would still be an issue if you're already poor. So you know what I mean. That would bother me too. But what I'm saying is the fact that we're telling people that they're speaking above their pay grade when we just told these same people that they have to speak life into their situation, right? So how do you get above your pay grade if you say, well, they're rich up there, so I shouldn't be concerned with none of the shit that they're concerned with and stay down here in my menial life where, you know, I make six figures or
let me explain what I meant. I'm sorry. Let me explain. What I'm saying
Hold on, say Adoration. Go ahead, Jess.
We're having
So for regular folks with regular money, they base it off of how many years you've been married. If we're talking about alimony for women, that's it. You only pay a certain percentage for however many years you were married, unless you were married for more than 10 years.
Well, no, I wasn't even speaking on that perspective, though. I would just say in general, like what Adoration was saying. And I'm not talking about the alimony and all that. I'm saying how she was saying we shouldn't be concerned with the conversations that these wealthy people are having.
So what I meant, I'm sorry. I think you misunderstood. What I meant was people are basing their relationships off of celebrity status. In other words, women are saying, well, he didn't provide me a da-da-da-da. He can't afford that. And men are saying,
that makes sense.
Okay,
and you don't have millions. You're barely paying $60 in child support. I know a guy who's not doing it. He's not paying $60 in child support, $60 a week. So, and yet he's sitting around talking about Kanye probably have to pay this. You're not them. And this goes for women and men. And men. And I think that we need to have conversations based on where we're at. I'm not saying anything like you can't talk about someone. I'm just saying we bring in these celebrity problems as if we have 21 million, as if we have, you know what I mean, this and that. We're not there. And I feel like because we're having this conversation stay toxic because we're talking about stuff we don't have. He's scared to get married. He's going to take half of, no offense, what?
Word. So
that part.
Thank you. That was good.
Great breakdown. So I do have another clip of someone who's explaining why there's high divorce rates.
We're seeing a very strong divorce rate because we're very ignorant on the covenant of marriage. The Bible says, my people are destroyed or divorced because they lack knowledge. If you don't have a revelation of what the purpose of this was, according to God, if you don't have a revelation of your role in it, why wouldn't it fail? We just have a generation that has no idea what they're doing. They also don't know what love is because we're very hypersexual in this generation.
Very.
Yeah, and our minds are blinded, and so nobody really takes 100% responsibility for the reason they are in the position that they're in. Like, I am really big on taking responsibility. Yes, I made this stupid mistake, and sometimes it was an on purpose. Sometimes you laying on your back is not a mistake. It's an on purpose. Sometimes you made this decision, and this is why I'm in the position I'm in, and God is getting me out of that. Until we start taking 100% responsibility of why we are where we are, you're still going to be in this ignorant state in your own mind because you're never blaming the person whose fault it really is you. You're always playing the victim.
Amen. That's the one I was waiting on.
Yeah.
Amen. Accountability.
Right. She spoke.
Extreme accountability. Whether you felt like it was on purpose or not, still your fault.
And I love the way she said that it's, ignorant in this new generation. Because a lot of times they don't want to listen. You know what I mean? And we're trying to teach. It's important for us to teach our kids how to be in a marriage or in a relationship, even in a friendship. Just because you get into some small debate or problem issue, don't mean that you just run from it. Like, you sit there, you man up or you woman up, you deal with it. You know what I mean? And then you find out it's nothing. Because one thing I always use this example. I always tell my niece, nephews, anybody, you can get mad at your spouse or you can get mad at your parents, and you don't know the next day they could be dead. And then you start thinking it wasn't even worth it. So you start putting that frame of mind, is it really worth it to let your spouse leave to work that morning after you guys argue and let him drive to work or her drive a long ways to work, and you don't know what can happen? You don't do that. It's petty little stuff, more than I think that it was back in our day. I think it's more petty things because you got to remember, there was stuff that they could really got mad about back in the day when, some men had other families seated, had other families, you know what I'm saying, started or was doing sneaking around, and the wife knew. But you know what I'm saying? Those are bigger issues, and that ain't even sometimes around right now. It'd be little issues. Oh, well, you put your socks over there. Oh, you pulled too much on the comforter. I came home and you couldn't fix what I asked you. It needs something small. So if we taught our kids, men teach their sons, press it in their head. How men are supposed to be. Do you teach them how to buy the flowers for their mom? And how they treat their mom is how they're gonna treat their woman. And they see you doing it, they're gonna want to do it. How you treat them. Same thing with a woman. If she don't bring so many men around her household, keep them away until you know who's the one.
That part.
And then you start letting her know, like, do you understand why I am dating him? Do you understand why I keep him at a distance? And you don't never let a man sleep over there and you got a daughter, teenage daughter, walking around with half her damn, clothes on. You got to teach her how. And it's her house, but you have to still teach her how to be a lady.
Yep.
It's just what it is. I think, it starts with us pressing them. Just like we asked them how you said, ask them how their day was, how was this and that, how was school. Do you, start talking about, well, how are you going to be when you start dating? Because they're going to date whether we know it or not. Telling a kid you can't date until you're 16, damn well they probably not had sex at 12 these days. So
12? Oh my God.
She's not lying. I'm not lying. I knew some.
Yes. You don't act like you ain't seen The Color Purple either. So
yeah.
I mean, that was a movie. That was a movie. I seen it in real life. I knew
in real life.
They was doing it in junior high. You know what I'm saying? I seen it in real life.
My mama didn't allow me around those kids.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, because we knew one girl, she had no lie. She had 5 abortions. We were only in junior high at Frisbee. Now that's too many. I would have took my daughter down there, she would have to get fixed. We're not gonna play them games, you know.
God.
That's just too.
What I walk back into.
I know, right?
She
Exactly.
got to get fixed. What?
Protect your
That
kids,
was my little 3 cents.
Man. You know what I'm saying?
That was a lot to unload, D.
You know, just to try to let them know, you know, what black love is. You know, express it to them
Mhm.
so they don't be out here confused. The internet's going to teach them, you know, and they're not going to teach it right. So let's, you know, show them what the black love is, what this is about, you know, this and that. Pull your damn pants up, pay attention, you know. These tattoos on the faces and stuff ain't cool. You know what I mean? They tatting all up and, you know, oh, this is my girl, you know. No, come on. Be respectful, you know. That's just how
I think the biggest thing as parents that we can teach our children is emotional intelligence.
Ooh, come on, cuz.
Like if your children are not emotionally intelligent, that's basically what Dee was talking about early on, like with the friendships and all of that type of stuff. You have to weigh those scenarios. Like, and when you react out of anger, you're usually making a bad decision.
Right.
Just being honest. 99% of the time when you speak while you're angry or while you're emotional, whether that be, you know, hurt, sad, you know, angry, whatever those emotions may be, it's 9 times out of 10, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And it's going to be a scenario that's not beneficial to either party. So the more you teach your children how to be emotionally intelligent and actually talk through scenarios that happen in life, it doesn't have to be right then, like get off where you're mad, but it does need to be a time where you say, okay, now that it's happened, let's take some time to reflect and look at the entire situation now that you're not mad, or now that you're not crying, and or now that you're not you know, so sad about it. Let's look at it in its entirety and address it. And you can go back to that person and speak from a place not only of empathy, you know, because you may not have seen their point because you were so angry, you know what I mean, or you were so sad or hurt, you know what I mean. So now you can empathize with why they were the way they were on their side, and you can also express your side without having to take cheap shots at people and say hurtful things and say things that you know is going to break somebody's spirit. That's not always necessary. Like we say, life, but that's part of speaking life is using your empathy and emotional intelligence to have a conversation where you don't have to hurt somebody's feelings to get your point across. And there's a whole lot of that going on where people are just speaking and it's fuck how you feel. I said what I said, you know what I mean? Which is sometimes necessary, but more often than not, it's not really necessary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just being honest.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right.
I like that.
I've been there.
And
agreed.
People's side of the story.
But you know what, too? Even though I said, like, even with friendships, teaching them how to be a friend, too. You know what I mean? But that don't mean that everybody you trust. That don't mean everybody is your friend. You know what I mean? You still keep that radar. You know what I mean? You still keep your boundaries. Always got to be boundaries. And they got to understand what a boundary is, you know?
Yeah, everybody's not your friend.
Right. And you don't need to let everybody know where you live. You know what I mean?
No. Not at all.
Right. Man. Look at this. Boy, we having a good productive conversation on this Friday.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Man.
Beautiful thing.
All right, so we coming to the last leg of the show. You know what I'm saying? We always want to try to keep it underneath 2 hours because, yeah, your boy don't like editing sometimes. And, you know, they have this thing where we can just press a button and boom, it can edit and give us clips automatically. So, you know, call it whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to keep it underneath 2 hours. But anyway, there's another clip where I don't know. This is probably might cause a spicy debate where we might have to have a part 2. You know what I'm saying? But
we're mature. We got this.
We talk about sex, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. But yeah, so basically, one of the clips that I've seen, and this is actually something that we were actually having a conversation about the role of a husband and a wife and whether sex is a requirement or a duty. And so, you know, it brought up this one clip that I seen and I saved. This is meant for a show from a long time ago, but, you know, it just came to fruition now, especially since we're talking about love, marriage. Now we do have to talk about the aspect of sex. So in the role in the marriage, if sex is denied, is it okay for a spouse or for someone to step outside of that to fulfill that need? And this is what this clip has said right here.
If you feel like you don't want to give it to him, guess what? Don't ask him where he's going. Don't ask him where you been. If you're not interested, cool. Let him go do his thing then. How dare you think that you just all that where, oh, I could just not give him some. Play them games with the right man. He got 5 other chicks in his phone book right now that's swinging from a shower curtain. Trust me. The most abusive thing a woman can do, in my opinion, is to sit, make that man either be in a relationship with you, marry you, and then turn around and stop giving him what you promised. And there's no excuse. So if you're with somebody and they not giving it up, it's not cheating if you go get it from somewhere else, period. Because you went against the agreement first. That was you. I ain't signed up for this to be told no. He is then within his right to have another woman perform that duty that you didn't perform, especially if you're married.
Go ahead, Jess. I see you.
Hold on.
Let me pull off real quick.
This is why she hot. Now, first off, I was she's over here putting her hand all on my. No where her hand been. Here, I was grooving to the beat. Now, shout out to Mims. I actually opened up for him out in San Diego. This is why we hot. That song was dope. That beat was dope. He was a one-hit wonder, but I actually opened up for him, and the song was dope. So I was grooving out to the beat. I don't know what this one over here, Mrs. Graduate, Mrs. Bachelor's degree was talking about over here. This is why we hot.
Let's get into it.
This is why she hot. This is why she hot.
29.
All right, Third, you go first.
28.
Good luck. She count down. Damn. Go ahead, Jess.
Go ahead.
Get your issue.
You go first.
No, I played the clip. Go ahead. I provided the clip.
Okay, well, I would like a great adequate answer.
I brought the clip to the table.
Did I not provide? I provided the clip. Now let's start the conversation.
Here we go. You ready?
Let's go. Come on.
It's like saying it's basically saying, and let me flip it because some people can only hear it when it's flipped. How crazy it is. It's like saying my man went to the army and he's going to be deployed for a year, and therefore he cannot perform his duty. Let me sleep with somebody while he's gone.
Thank you, adoration.
People don't understand what marriage is. And this is what happens though. When you sleep around before marriage, you don't have any discipline. People have no discipline.
Self-control.
So many people in this generation, and not just this generation. Hold up, let me backtrack because I'm lying.
Yeah, don't.
Just like D said earlier,
these old heads is out
been
here
running around for
freaky ass niggas, 69 gods. You know what I'm saying?
Generation will get online, put a camera in front of them. Now listen, I'm not saying like D said, guys had families out and down the street, but I'm not really sure how many of them would get on camera and be like, this generation's so bold. We will get on camera. And no offense, just because you're getting cheated on, miss, doesn't mean that makes any context of sense. People don't have any discipline. So for them, sex is just the thing. For so many people, sex is just the thing. They have no understanding of what it is, what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be, the covenant that God made it. It's just, so if you have that mindset and you get in a marriage and you're not having as much sex as you want because you guys are not clicking, not off, she's pregnant, yada, yada, yada. Of course you're going to row. If your man is deployed to the army or he just works too much and you're not enjoying yourself, because a lot of women, they like build up. They like, that connection. They're not just trying to hit raw. So now they're going to have a boyfriend all day and they're going to go have sex with him. That's not marriage. I don't know what it's called. I call it hoeing. Okay,
so
I call it living in the street.
All right, good. Okay, good. You gave $5. You gave $5. I got to interject because we're on time frame. You gave $5. We asked for 3 cents. So here's the thing. All right. So the thing about it is, it's very funny that you say that because there are a lot of women who do creep. When the dudes go away, when they go to jail. Hold on. Gung ho. When they go to jail, when they go to the military, when they, you know, they creep with their homies' best friends. They creep. You know, so we're not just gonna say that it's gender specific because men and women both creep. So if a woman, so I'm not saying that you did. So I'm saying that Cheryl over here said, what if it's the wife? So again, yes, because we have shows like Maury where there's been multiple women, you know, and they come on. I'm 100% positive sure that's the baby dad. That's the baby father. Look, he got his lips. No. Maury come back. You are not the child's father. And then they start crying. Come on now. It happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be paternity suits if it didn't happen.
That's the reason why I gave you an example of a woman. I didn't give you an example of a man.
Word.
That's the reason.
So hold on. So Angie says that's bullshit. If you believe that, then you should go both ways. If he not giving it up, it's okay. Like I said, get it how you get it, pimp.
I disagree. Yeah, I think it's wrong both ways.
Letitia says, I don't care what the situation is, it's still cheating and it's still wrong. You have two hands, you better use them.
But isn't that considered cheating too?
What though?
Yes, it is.
I don't want to talk about that, but that's not cheating.
So cover your ears, dear.
Oh no, I already know.
Okay.
I've experienced.
Damn. Hey, this ain't that type of show.
I'm gonna create a shirt that says "Who hurt you?" because it wasn't me. Now look,
we already get back out of here.
It wasn't him.
You about to start thinking that I'm this dog, whatever.
It wasn't him.
Look,
okay.
I'll stay single.
You know
what I'm saying? Let's just point here. But the thing about it is, so I'm gonna answer Tisha's question. The thing is, yeah, we got hands, but you know what I'm saying, if nothing is like the real thing, okay? So
for some men.
That's so again, I'm telling you, so
Exactly.
gosh. So you can't speak for a man. All right. I'm telling you right now, with a lot of men, you know what I'm saying, what it is, when you're doing that, you start to kind of feel like a sucker because the reality hits is that you ain't actually getting it. I'm
so you don't
keeping
feel
it
like
a
a
buck.
sucker when you go out and cheat though?
God damn it. When was the last time you had it? When was the last time you had it?
You know what? Leave her alone.
I'm just saying. Because once you pop, you can't stop. That's what essentially what I'm trying to say.
No, yes, you can. Adoration. Don't even believe him.
Oh, I
yes,
know.
You can.
Trust me. I'm
yes, you can.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby.
Listen, man.
All right, Mr. Mary.
I think we're all missing the point here. Yes, that clip is crazy. I don't 100% agree with her. The part that I can kind of resonate with is if you are using your vagina as punishment or in terms of a weapon or you using the soul pole, same thing. Like if you're using if you're using your participation as punishment or a weapon, then that's an issue. But to say that because you're doing that instantly gives me a pass to cheat is asinine. You know what I mean? There should be a conversation, maybe several conversations about what's actually going on here, what we expect from each other, and how do we get around this obstacle to where you feel like whether man or woman, it's okay to withhold sex to prove your point. Because I think what Jess or Adoration said it, the discipline within a person is what create those scenarios, right? You have no self-control, you have no discipline if you think oh well, I ain't getting no sex for 3 days, I can go cheat now. Like where in reality is that okay? But on top of that, you know, it's just it's crazy, man. I was with her for a second, but you know, marriage is so much.
She was wild. She was wild.
No, like you know, there may be times where I don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be realistic. Women think that men just always feel. No, there's gonna be some days where I just want to take my black ass to sleep. You know what I mean? But if we could talk and okay, I got you. You know what I mean? Because I know there's gonna be a day where she don't feel like it. Is she gonna bless your boy? So it's the give and take and the sacrifice that you have to deal with it being in a relationship. but you should not be using your sex as a weapon. I'm never going to be okay with that.
I agree.
And that's the cold part, is that people do. They will hold it hostage. Well, in order to get their way, it's a form of manipulation where they say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not. Then, okay. So then at the aspect of it too, essentially, again, when you're talking about marriage, the whole thing of marriage was to procreate, you know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, if you're understanding that men are, I'm just kind of just playing advocate a bit, if you're understanding that men are sexual creatures, you know what I'm saying? So if that desire, what he is lacking here, you know, especially he can have all the stuff. Again, what Adoration is saying is 100% true, and that's correct. But the realistical thing of it is, though, is that, you know, yeah, you can have all the self-control and all the other stuff that you want. But I'm telling you, when you're actually walking in the land of temptation and someone is over here dangling it in front of your thing, and it's just like equivalent to walking through a desert, you know what I'm saying, and you're thirsting for water, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes even the dirtiest of water is going to look really, really damn good if you're lacking the water. You know what I'm saying? That's just the realistic thing. So you do have to have a self-control. You have to start thinking about, hey, why I love my wife, why I love my wife, why I love my wife, or even for a wife to start thinking, remember why you love your husband, why you love your husband. But I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, yeah, we are people, we're human. And at the end of the day, sometimes the flesh is weak. So it happens.
All right.
And that's the part I don't get. Why would you put your partner in that scenario? Like, why is this even a thing?
Like I said, there are men who go to war. There are women who have to work and take care of the kids. It's not, I don't think that, I mean, there are people, like you said, that use it as, I guess, a weapon, but people have lives. It's not so much, you know, I mean, you can't go on a business trip for
those are like, those aren't everyday scenarios though. Like, you know, that's a specific niche of people. We're speaking about globally or just, you know, for the masses. Most people aren't going off to war. Most people don't have to go to work somewhere 3 months, 6 months at a time. And even with that, you understood that when you signed up for this. So that's still not an excuse either. You know what I mean? You knew what you signed up for when you got with this individual, whether they were going to get deployed or whether they had to travel. Yeah. So those are not excuses either. I took it the other way with, you know, using it as a weapon, but that side too, that's still not an acceptable behavior because, matter of fact, you should probably feel worse about yourself if your partner is over here fighting for the goddamn country for all your freedoms and you freely giving up whatever it is you got back here and enjoying not having to dodge bullets or IEDs and shit on the side of the road. You're a horrible person. And
I agree.
The nerve of it, Dennis.
Go ahead, Jess. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. Go ahead, Jess.
Go ahead.
I will say for the women out there, I did learn in my classes from church that it helps a man to connect with you when you do, you know, have sex in marriage. It helps the man connect with you. For the men, it will help if you make it romantic.
Yes.
It's a form of intimacy.
Yeah. So
100%.
it is both ways.
Yeah, it does.
It is both ways.
I agree with you, Jess, with the mess. Letitia, I forgot. Yeah, Jess Blaze.
Thank you.
Melvin called you Jess Blaze. Tisha says, and people have mental breakdowns to where they do not want to. Communication is key. If you can't control yourself, then you should stay single. Again,
Amen.
I agree.
Again, so that's
where the man needs to have self-control.
But see, here's again, so there is true woman. Huh?
I said,
but if the woman has
so again, but either or, because things happen. Men can get laid off. Men get laid off and they may not feel it. But then some women, again, they want to feel appreciated. Again, when men come around giving women certain attention that they lack too, they sit up there and they step out also. So it's just not necessarily a gender thing. But what I'm saying is idealistically, so, you know, if you should stay single, I mean, yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but now you're not. You know what I'm saying? So idealistically, I mean, it sounds poetic. It sounds great. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, it just doesn't happen that way. And that's the thing that I think that we got to start walking and talking in is reality. Because again, we have these high expectations of what it should be. And then when you see that, hey, this is not what it should be, you get that letdown, then boom, you're over here looking for an easy out, or I'm gonna cut this person off, or this, and that. The essential thing that I can tell you about life is that shit happens. You know what I'm saying? So yes, communication is definitely key. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, if you're deprived, if women are deprived from attention, and how many times I know you got some homegirls where sit up there and said, well, he's not showing me attention at home, or he's not doing this. And then you get Dexter to come over here. Well, if I were you, I would love you every day. I would do this, I would do that, and start whispering in your ear. Then they go, you know what I'm saying? Or they step out, you know what I'm saying? And they have that thing. Men do it too. It's the same thing.
But if they're strong in the word of God, guess what?
But even the strong,
most of these niggas is not strong in the word of God. Just don't do that.
They not.
So again, so idealistically, it sounds good. Idealistically, it sounds good. So, but what happens? What happens when a rock begins to crumble?
Man.
The point of the matter is, at the end of the day,
what happens?
It's not right.
When a rock begins to crumble,
it as right just because it happens. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's justifiable.
Here's a better analogy, Third. Here's a better analogy. If you let a small stream of water run over a rock over a long period of time, eventually it will cut through that rock. So you have to watch the slow leaks in your life. You know what I mean? And all of that reverts back to having conversations. You guys should, if you're in a committed relationship and you guys really think y'all finna go somewhere for a long time, you guys, as corny as it sounds, and I know Third hates when I say this, but your marriage should be operating in the same aspect as a business, right? Yeah, you wouldn't just show up to your business every day and not pay attention to the sales and not pay attention to your monthly overhead, your bills. You wouldn't just show up to a business and not pay attention to, what worked for you last month and what's not working for you this month. It's the same thing in a relationship. You have meetings in your business, whether it be weekly, quarterly, daily, objective goals. What are we doing? What is our goal for the next 3 months? Like, these are things you should be doing in your relationship. I know people hate when I say your marriage is a business, but these are the types of things I mean, because you should be having these conversations. You should be checking in weekly. Hey, what'd you struggle with this week? And I'll share with you what I struggle with and how we can support each other through that to help the week go better next week, and putting these things into practice. Or, what's our savings goal for the next 3 months? Because, we got this coming up in August, or we got this, what's our Christmas saving goal? How much money do we need to put away each month? Like, these are things you should be having discussions. Most people are just out here winging this shit. Yeah. And that's why it's failing, because you don't have any plan.
I agree with that.
You don't have any structure to your relationship. There's no plan. You motherfuckers just out here. I love you. You love me. We Barney and friends. And you know what I'm saying? When it starts raining, everybody shit out of luck. You know what I mean? Just come up with a plan, man. Shit.
Well.
Yeah, that was Black the Bars.
I need the queen to come out with a rag and pat your head real quick,
That's so good though. My mom said,
give you a sip of water.
Look, I'm all out of water. That's what I was looking for. I need some water. You know what I'm saying?
D, you got anything to add real quick? We're getting ready to start wrapping it up, start winding it down.
I agree. I mean, I don't agree with that chick. I think she need to shut up. To me, I'm that female that I'm gonna be there for you the whole time. We're gonna ride this out. But if you out doing what you want to do, it ain't about me holding it back, because I want to just do. It's about, I'm not in the mood to touch your nasty ass if you out there doing dirt. You know what I mean? If I got to figure that you ain't doing your same routine that you usually do, and you hanging out, why do I want to be in the mood to touch your nasty thing when you done been out there? You lucky I ain't popped no holes in your ass, because if I find out the evidence and the receipts, allegedly you're gonna be leaking from your ass.
37 times. That's 37 right there. That's 37. That's 37, not 37. 37.
No problem. Use
Yeah.
the restroom because he's gonna be leaking all over.
Yeah, fireflies all your way. Number fireflies.
Now, now I got to speak to the dudes out there. I got to speak to the dudes before we start wrapping it up. Now, the thing is, so one of the things that Quest hit on, communication is very key. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that Jess is hitting on, very true. What D is saying is very true. I like how you said that, D. D say, look, I want it just as much as you, but I ain't gonna want to touch her nasty. So again, get to know the woman who you're getting ready to settle down with. Period. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna get into a committed relationship, you should already have all your hoish ways out of your system. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get with that one and you actually talk with her, I guarantee when you find that right one, she's going to be everything that you need. You're looking for this one over here who wants to be super freak. She going to be that for you. If you want her to do this, she's going to do that for you.
Because the wife desires her husband. It says that in the Bible too.
Not just that, but again, because she's going to love you. You know what I'm saying? She's going to want to please you. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, if you're giving her that stability, if you're giving her that comfort, that security of trust, she's going to want to do certain things for you. She'll be your super freak. You don't necessarily just need. So the one thing about that movie, Why Did I Get Married? When you said the 80-20 rule, that's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you can got this one over here. The one little small percent that you're lacking in your relationship, you got this one over here dangling it. I promise you, when you step out, you go mess with this one over here. You know, she ain't got that whole 80% of what you're looking for. Then now you can't come back to over here because now, like D says, she ain't gonna want to touch you. Be that whole aspect of her wanting to please you and being that super freak that you want, it go out the window.
It's all about self-love.
So you got to be responsible with how you slinging that thing. And when you're doing it, make sure you're doing it right. But make sure that you get with the woman that is going to be everything that you need. She's going to be your super freak. She's going to be your friend. She's going to be your business partner. She's going to be everything that you need. You need to find every aspect of what you're looking for in that woman. And if you can't find everything that you're looking for or a majority of what you're looking for in that woman, then, you know, then just continue your search. Don't settle. Don't settle. Continue to search. Because if you settle, then I guarantee when someone come over here with some big boobies or big ass or whatever, or come talking that stuff in your ear, you know what I'm saying? You gonna slip. And that's when the flesh definitely becomes weak.
So some of y'all stop trying to date yourself. Would you date you? That should always be your question. Would you date you? You know what I mean? Some of you are not relationship material, but you keep trying to put the animus on the other party to do all the work, to do all the heavy lifting. You guys can grow together, but some of y'all ain't trying to grow. You just want to show up, and that's why your relationships fail, because
that's why things happen, because we don't have her commit to everything, cooking and cleaning. You know what I'm saying? Having sex on the counter, doing all that other little stuff. You got me doing all this, and now you want to go and play around the street?
Yeah, you ain't.
That's greed. That's just greed. At that point, it becomes greed.
Right. But that's where discipline comes in, because if you running around before marriage and then you expect in your marriage everything's going to be daisies and roses and super freak, it's just not reality. People get pregnant. Right. People are tired. So you don't have to discipline. You're always. I know
some women. You know, when you become pregnant, they still got that drive too, and sometimes it's healthy to have sex while you're pregnant. So I can't. Reality. That goes for some women. We can't necessarily speak on all. And then even, you know,
I think there's a statistic on that women are high.
No, but what I'm saying is
what I've experienced before, you know what I'm saying?
What I'm experiencing, you know what I mean?
What I'm saying is though,
right.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
He said it's working out.
It's working itself out over here.
I know, but I'm just
saying. Exactly. I'm telling you what I experienced before.
Thank you, Melvin, for sure.
And on top of that too, and so another thing I'm gonna say, fellas, is when you get in that argument, that makeup sex or that makeup, that could be, that's fire too. I'm talking about from past stuff before.
Please don't start an argument just for that.
Don't do that either.
Makeup might get you stabbed too.
And I just wanted to answer.
Thank you.
That's that when we're doing it though. I'm just saying it might be worth it. I was just playing. All right, y'all. So is this something that we need to come back to? Go ahead,
I think we pretty much covered. I just wanted to answer Cool because
young men.
He said something about open relationships.
Y'all act like y'all just so like we supposed to just praise y'all men though. You know what I mean? Some of y'all
So many
y'all
women
ass
are
beat.
in the world. It's crazy.
We were on such
You
a
saw that
positive.
movie with Christmas? You saw that movie Christmas? And she put that baby oil on the floor and he got out that shower and she beat his ass with a belt.
Oh,
what are you?
This Christmas?
Cool was talking about open
Oh, yeah, 'cause
relationships, and I just wanted to let him know that I feel like there's still rules along in that too, even when y'all in open
I ain't doing it.
relationships or
I ain't
you
doing
know,
it.
That's not a covenant.
the poly life. I still think there's rules of engagement.
I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it.
I'm not doing it. I'm just saying I still think there's rules of engagement in there. There's
There
conversation.
definitely has to be some communication and some rules and regulations.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of rules.
Unspoken.
But all right, y'all.
D stab somebody, man.
D looking for the knife now. She's like, I ain't home yet.
Yeah,
I ain't home.
That's a lot of work. Do you know how hard it is to get your leg all up behind your hand?
All right. So hey. So
You understand?
this is
cut.
on tonight's show, and on that note,
That's what workouts for.
and on that note, you know what I'm saying? Hey, your boy. So last week was a busy weekend too. Your boy dropped a single from the new project called Unheard. So you know this is a song. Hey, we're not talking about all y'all. So before D start grabbing knives and it's like, we ain't talking about all. This was based off of a true story. So if you want to ask, we have an after party
Before Jess.
Yes,
right.
definitely before Jess. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about a particular groupie. But again, I got a song that's on Spotify and everywhere. You can go get it. Make sure you support. Here goes a snippet.
Teasing me, trying to get my cheese. You're fine as hell, but it's plain to see. You a hood rat. You a hood rat. You a hood rat. Come and get this cheese. You a hood rat. You a hood rat.
Yeah.
You a hood rat third.
That was it.
I didn't want to play the full thing. You know, you got just make sure you go get it on Spotify. 3R Degree on Apple Music. Even Apple. It's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you go support it from the project called Unheard Third. Yeah, man. But Hood Rat, go support that.
Right,
you know
say cool. That's what I think.
My bad. Next out. I mean, we could talk about it because there's definitely a story behind that song. It's a true story. It happened at the show. When I'm speaking on it, it's just complete facts, and this is crazy that this is the world we live in.
Listen to the song first, and then
yeah.
All right, you know,
if break it down.
Y'all go listen to the song because we need y'all to run my brother's streams up. You know what I'm saying? So go.
Shout out to San Bernardino. Shout out to San Diego. San Diego's bumping it. Shout out to somebody right now in I think it's India. Is it India or somewhere? Yeah, no, Ireland. Someone in Ireland. That's right. No, adoration.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not in India.
Hey, so I may not be doing anything tomorrow. I might be here, so we could talk about the song more, and I'll play it more tomorrow for an after party or something. You know, it's holiday weekend. I don't plan on doing shit. All right, so we'll speak.
Y'all have
all right, y'all. Well, I love y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure 3R Degree is on all streaming platforms. Shout out to Jeff for graduating, getting her bachelor's. Much love to D and her new her. I like that.
And don't forget, my niece got her master's. And
shout out to your niece.
Yes.
Quez got a business brunch coming on. Shout out to Tisha recording her new album Without the Temptations.
God.
Damn, bro.
Now why you
Adoration
repping right here?
Adoration, domo arigato. We will talk to you later. All right. Peace.
Peace.